Right then, welcome back. Today, you've probably guessed, we're doing this, the 2004 Triumph Speed Triple 955i. So, kind of the first. I know there was kind of a naked Daytona before this, but standard, it's not great. Tuned up 146, 183, so the numbers are a little bit more pleasing. Think Kawasaki Z1000R and you're thereabouts. That's with it tuned up, and that's a stock Z1000R, but it's got a little bit of something about it, hasn't it? Setup wise, that's where we ended up. Now we're going to go on a little journey and we're going to talk about how we got there, pros and cons. It's a great first big naked if you're just stepping up to the big bikes and you want to do a naked. We're doing the Euro Naked Trophy in the Euro League, so 3 races. It's grunty engine, it's a triple, and stable handling. It's a bit of a bust, long wheelbase, so it turns and holds a line. Cons, it's not that fast anymore. Nope, most nakeds now will just vanish into the distance. Low top speed, and it feels a bit heavy, a consequence of it being derived from the Daytona sports bike of the time. All in all, quite a good bike. Not something that's going to go top of the leaderboards, not something that's going to set your hair on fire, not something that you're going to ride and you're going to need to go into a room and draw the curtains and have a little 10 minutes with yourself. It's capable without being exceptional, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But yeah, we didn't trouble. Well, we went 19th at Imola, so we've got Brands, the Nürburgring, and Imola are the 3 tracks that we're going to go to. Electronics wise, 0 onto wheelie, 1 for launch, engine braking 2, traction control 0, and it'll use medium or soft tyres on the front, soft on the rear. If you're doing longer races, obviously use different tyres. First up was Brands, and the first thing we had to do was reset the setup that I had in there. I think this was probably the 4th bike that I rode on the game when I first started playing it. I mean, what's the Euro Naked Trophy, 3rd or 4th event in it, after a bit of a license and a bit of mucking about. So the setup was from a universe I no longer recognise or know whereabouts it is. It was all over the shop. We hadn't graduated the gear in, so basically I've used it and then put it in the shed and left it and not used it again. But yeah, everything back to 2.8, graduated tyres. Graduate the gears, stick some soft tyres in, and then we went and did a 5-lapper. Now, it's, like I said, I quite like it. I like the fact that it's a bit beefy and you've really got to ride the wheels off it to get going through the pack and get forward. It launches well because it's not got loads of power. It's got a longish wheelbase and she'll grunt because she's got a triple, so it's almost a perfect combination of factors to launch it off the line and just go barreling around the outside of people, because you can scrape the pegs and cases and whatever and just absolutely flog it within an inch of its life. What it doesn't do particularly well is kind of get out the corners with any mojo and go barreling down the straights to make up the lost ground if you're bumping and barging, or you run a bit wide, or you clatter over a curb, which it'll do quite happily. It'll monster curbs and do what you want. I mean, I say it won't monster go down the straights and do whatever, but it's just zipped past everything, but as be the limitations of the AI on 120%. But yeah, 5 laps in, front tyre a little bit warm, rear tyre not bad. Not a bank holiday washout, but at the same time not bad. So we're going to do a little bit of tweaking, because if we carry on with that setup, as the famous Roy Walker would say, it's good, but it's not right. So we have to do a bit of digging. We're going to firm the front end up, give a bit more support, which should move a bit more energy rearwards, and it should hopefully get the tyre planted and stop it moving about. Now, time attack. We did go on time attack. We did race, time attack, race, time attack. Made a couple of adjustments. We put a bit of stiffness on the front end, if you will. Took a little bit off the rear, so we dropped the spring rate, dropped the compression, just to try and stop the back end of the bike compressing too quickly. And was it better? Yes. Weather conditions were a little bit warm on the time attack, 1700, because it's the best light for photos and stuff like that. Front tyre's not as warm, back tyre's a little bit warmer, and we took we did 126.2 to a 125.9, so we managed to get through 0.3 of a second, just doing a couple of laps, mucking about. But again, there's an excess of energy in the front on a soft tyre, so We went all the way up on the front end and all the way down on the back end, the thinking being, and I added the spring rate back in, so the spring's harder to compress, and by dropping the rebound and compression, that means that the shock and the oil will move more slowly. That's the theory, anyway, behind the physics engine in the game. Went back out, tyres, perfect. Green front, green rear, even spread of energy, and we ended up at a 124.8, which is what, about 1.4 seconds quicker than we went in the race, just from a few little tweaks and twonks. We did 9 laps, pretty consistent, like 126, low 26s through to 24s. We're already 26th on the R6, so we go down a page, and 124.885 would have put us there 48th. Yeah, top 50, not bad, considering she's only got a rating of what? 756, floating in a 7 to 800 league, so it was top speed triple. Well, 955. Next up, the Nürburgring. No, not the good one, the GP circuit, which I don't mind the GP circuit, it's quite a nice little track. Longer than you think. That good launch came into effect pretty much straight away, and I hate this corner. The AI are a bit arsey. They don't really want to play ball, they just go through you rather than round you. The ambient air temperature 17 degrees. Bear in mind, we've just been at Brands at 25 and got the energy and the temperature across the tyres absolutely perfect. So there's the stability, because we're fighting with Ducatis and kind of not falling off, which makes a refreshing change. There's the lovely amount of power and on wheelbase. Got lovely floaty wheelies. What I did struggle with was keeping the tyres warm. Low ambient temperature meant we had to push really, really hard to get like energy into the front, which would give us grip, which means we can go into the turns faster and power on the way out. The payoff of having a slightly cold setup was stability. Tyres a little bit soft. In theory, the pressures would be a little bit lower, bigger contact patch. Yes, it'll be a bit slower as a turn, but it should give you a bit more stability, and that's pretty much how it panned out. I was worried about the leader, German rider, German track. Normally they vanish into the distance, but they decided to crash at the end of lap 1, which made our life a little bit easier. And not much else changed. The tyres stayed pretty static. We did use most of the rear. Now, the elephant in the room is I used a medium front rather than a soft, just because of the amount of hard braking and front end turns, and I also didn't want to wear it out. Would I have worn it out if I'd gone a soft? I don't know, but I didn't go back and test it, so I just kind of left it as it was, and we vanished effectively into the distance and won by a country mile, beating the Germans on the German track on the British motorcycle during the war and all that. But anyway, time attack wise, 12 laps. We did a 1:59.4 in the race, and we got it down to a 1:57.5. No, 1:59.4 to a 1:57.5. So that would have put us 20th. Again, top 955, 2 seconds difference. Not really making a lot of changes. I pushed 1 onto the preload and 2 onto comp just to get it moving about a little more, just to see if I could manage that energy a bit better. Imola, the recording I made is a mess, the sound's corrupt. It's something in the game. You run over a curb and it makes a little noise, and then it corrupts the sound file, and there's loads of screeching and clicking and cracking all over it. So we're not going to do the Imola race, which basically the changes that we made. We ran medium front, soft rear. Again, the soft's a tiny bit cold, but it's not like it's blue. There's a reasonable amount of energy in it. So again, we won by a country mile, as we should be doing. It's a 5-lap race at Imola when on a bike that we've spent the last 45 minutes setting up. Time attack wise, 1:49.6. We did 1:52.3. So 2.7 seconds quicker on time attack. Just the AI and the track and the bits and bobs and the tyres wearing out, and we would have gone 19th, which again, to say it's halfway up the 7 to 799 kind of league, I thought was reasonably good, and that was on a medium soft. And that's your lot. That is it. We're done. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on. I apologise for the lack of Ride 4 content recently. In fact, I apologise for the lack of pretty much anything. I have a new toy in my life. I managed to get hold of a PlayStation 5 and Gran Turismo 7. So prepare yourselves for a massive amount of that incoming. I'm not going to apologise, because Gran Turismo was my first love. When I was a teenage boy and that came out, I did everything I could to get hold of a PlayStation. and Gran Turismo, so we're going to go out. I'm still going to do ride, I promise I'll still do ride, still do setups and a few bits and bobs and endurance races, and I'm still not over the Mugello race, so we'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, stay tuned, gonna be more. If you like Gran Turismo, awesome. If you don't, tough, I don't really care. And that's it. Well, thanks for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, all the usual jazz, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, peace.